Hey everyone, and welcome. I am so glad you're here joining us for today's explainer on Cambridge English question rules. I want you to listen really closely because we are going to master something absolutely crucial today. You see, in English, forming a question, well, it's not only about just slapping a question mark at the end of a sentence.
Let's dive right in by looking at a super common mistake. Check out this sentence here with the big red X. You are ready? Now, a lot of times, students who speak Arabic or other languages will just use standard statement word order, raise their voice at the end, and, well, think they've perfectly made an English question. But as you can see, in English, that structure just doesn't work.
But here's the really interesting part. Take a look at the simple fix right over on the right next to that green check mark. Are you ready? Notice what happened there. The words actually swapped places. This simple little visual switch is our absolute gateway to understanding how English sentence structure really works.
And that brings us to what we call the golden rule. I want you to read this slowly and clearly with me. The helper verb usually comes before the subject. This rule is literally the foundation for everything you are going to learn in this lesson. You've got to remember it. Helper before subject.
All right, let's look at pattern 1, be verbs.
Let's see how this builds using words you already know, like am, is, and are. So we start with a basic statement, you are ready. Now, follow the arrow. To turn this into a question, the helper verb are literally jumps to the very front of the sentence. Are is our helper, you is our subject. Are you ready? It really is that simple.
Moving right along to pattern 2, action verbs.
So, what happens when a sentence has an action verb but there's no visible helper verb for us to move? Well, we basically have to create one using do, does, or did. Look at this statement, you like English. There's no helper verb here to move. So here's the crucial trick. We just add the helper do at the very beginning to build our question, and boom, it becomes do you like English? Do is the helper, you is the subject, and like is our base verb.
Now, pay super close attention here because this is a massive exam smart tip for you. Look at he plays football. We use does because our subject is he, but watch what happens to the main verb. The S drops right off. Does he play football? After using does, the main verb absolutely must become a simple base verb. Seriously, no S at the end.
Okay, so what if the action happened in the past, like they visited the museum? Well, for past tense questions, our go-to helper is did. So we just put did right at the front. Did they visit the museum? And let me remind you once again, look really closely here. The main verb, visited, returns to its base form, visit. The helper word did already does the job of telling us it's in the past.
Now for pattern 3, question words.
This final pattern is incredibly useful because it lets us ask for very specific information. And here are your 5 essential question words. Let's just read through them slowly together so you can recognize them instantly on your exams. What, where, when, why, how.
So, how exactly do we use them? Check out the formula. Question word plus helper plus subject plus verb. It is basically just our golden rule formula that we've already been practicing, but the question word simply attaches to the very front. It's kind of like adding a new piece to a puzzle. For example, where do you live? Where is the question word. Do is the helper. You is the subject, and live is the verb. Perfect, flawless structure.
All right, let's spend a minute on fixing common mistakes.
Okay, we are going to fix 3 classic student errors step by step so you literally never make them again. Look at the left, where you live, with a giant red X. Why is this wrong? Because it is completely missing the helper verb. Now look at the green check mark on the right, where do you live? We absolutely must have that helper verb do sitting right there before the subject you.
Let's look at the next mistake. Does he plays football? Again, a big red X. Do you remember our exam smart tip from earlier? Repeat that rule in your head right now. After the helper, does, we absolutely must use the base verb play, not plays. The correct sentence is over on the right. Does he play football?
And here's our 3rd classic mistake. Did they visited the museum? Can you spot the error here? The helper did already shows past time, so visit just has to be in its simple base form. The green check shows the perfect question, did they visit the museum?
It's time for a mini quiz, the 3-question challenge.
You've learned the rules. You've seen the mistakes. Now, I enthusiastically invite you to jump into this interactive mini-quiz to really lock in everything you've learned today. Here is challenge number 1. Turn this statement into a question. You are happy. I'll give you just a few seconds to think it over in your head.
All right, let's see if you got it right. The answer is, are you happy? Awesome job if you correctly pictured moving that helper verb are right to the very front of the sentence.
Challenge number 2. Fix the mistake in this sentence. Where she lives. Try to spot the missing helper verb and remember to fix the main verb before I show you the answer. Take a guess.
And the correct structure is, where does she live? Notice the addition of does and the correction to the base verb live. Brilliant work if you caught that. Okay, final challenge. Turn this past tense statement into a question. They watched the film. Take a few seconds to visually arrange the correct words in your head right now. Let's reveal the final answer. Did they watch the film? We use did at the front because it's past tense, and we return watched back to the base verb watch. You did fantastic today. Let's just do a quick review of our simple 4-step memory card. Question word, helper, subject, base verb. Think about your native language for a second. Do you rely on helper verbs to ask a question, or do you just change the tone of your voice? Mastering the simple English word order is the absolute key to sounding fluent. Make sure you save this word order rule and subscribe for more Cambridge English in 5 minutes. See you next time.